Garcia was caught red-handed trying to unload some copper wire at Lopez Recycling and Wrecking Yard. He has been charged with grand theft, possession of stolen copper wire, vandalism, and drug possession. And speaking of vandalism, just because you don't like the flock cameras does not mean that you get to destroy them. 40-year-old Marcus B. of Pismo Beach is under arrest after authorities say that he drove to Monterey County and destroyed at least 3 flock cameras, ramming them with his truck in Lockwood and Bradley. He also, according to the report, destroyed some license plate readers. The reason that police believe it was him, he was caught on surveillance video. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. We stream live at kernradio.com. 2 more broadcasts before a much-needed but little-deserved vacation. And I have all but one of my hosts settled. We got to film Tuesday. Ms. Goldner is sequestered in her home, so she's unable to do it.
It was Thursday.
David Dowdy and Healing for Hands. Healing Hands for healing happiness. Healing happiness with hands. Yeah, I'll explain later in the week. But it's a great lineup, actually. Kathy on Monday and Clayton Campbell on Wednesday and David on Thursday and Rick Bentley on Friday. And as soon as I fill that Tuesday spot, I will let you all know. We talked about letting you do it, but who would produce? You do it yourself?
JR, maybe, or Daisy.
Oh, yeah, he'd love that. Oh, Daisy? You could pull in Daisy in here.
That's what I did for JR show the other day. Last week.
How'd that go?
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I pulled in a couple family members who have businesses and whatnot, and talked about that.
All right, very good. Because next week, I couldn't possibly care less. I just couldn't. And it's just going to be, just telling you, it's going to be another disastrous birthday. It really is. I just got so many things going on right now, and it's very complicated. It just really is. But like I told JR, I'm not in jail. I'm not in a hospital. I feel good. I'm playing golf this weekend. Hopefully going to get in 36 holes Friday and Saturday, despite the heat. Teeing off like 8 Saturday, which is playing it kind of close, which means we're walking off the course at like noon. So 16, 17, 18 is going to be I've always said as long as I have a towel, a wet towel that I can keep wetting and just kind of wipe my face and put a little cold water on the back of my neck, I can pretty much deal with just about anything. I remember when I first moved up here and I thought Valley Grande was the only golf course in town before I got turned on to Kern River. I tried to walk. I was only 30 years old. And so I walked it. I wasn't, back in those days, I never drove. I couldn't afford it. And I was young, and why would I drive? I'm a young man. And I tried to walk. It was 104. But I was like, it's not 104. I'd been there like a week. And I was like, it's not it's not going to be 104. That's ridiculous. It's California. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours from where I just left, where it was 88 degrees. There's no way it's 104. And Chris, I got out there, and do you know I walked off the 8th hole? I couldn't even finish the 9th hole that sends you right to the clubhouse. I just said, no, screw it, and walked back to the clubhouse.
You couldn't even just roll your way in?
No, I couldn't play the 9th hole. I remember I finished the 8th hole, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. But then I came back with a towel, because like a towel, you can walk around with the towel wrapped around your neck, just get it wet, and just as long as I stay moist, I think I'll be okay. And the boys play, at the crack of dawn on Sundays. So I'm not worried about that. We're off the course by 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'm not worried about that. And then in Los Angeles, you know what I'm going to do too? I figured I was talking to a buddy of mine. I talked him into playing with me. I'm going to take my clubs to Los Angeles. Do you know I have never done that? I don't know why. I've never taken my clubs to LA with me. I don't know why. I really don't. I was trying to think why, because it's kind of a pain in the ass, because I stay in a hotel and it's like, well, it's no different than taking them home. What, because you got to put them in the elevator? I was arguing with myself. Like, why is it such a pain in the ass, Ralph? Well, there's no room in the hotel room for your clubs? Put them in the closet. Put them in the bathroom, for God's sake. What are you tripping on? And I'm like, yeah. What are you tripping on? And I take Ubers to the golf course here. What's the difference? So I'm going to go play Westchester Golf Course, the course that I grew up on.
Nice.
Right there on Manchester. It's a no par fives, a lot of par threes. I think there are 4 par threes on the front. And obviously, what's that left? 5 little short par fours. And it'll be fun. It's where I learned how to play. It'll be fun. I'm excited about that. Excited about today's broadcast. We got busy. We're going to start with Dr. Fauci. Chris Burdick has uncovered some unknown audio from yesterday's testimony. We'll play that for you in just a second. Kevin Mays, the story gets even worse and worse and worse. Have you heard this? The latest on Kevin Mays? The CSUB pimp that was sentenced today?
That's what I'm saying. Other than him being sentenced today, no.
Less than a year.
Oh, yeah, know that.
Less than a year. 1 year from now, the pimp will be walking the streets. Next summer, this time, right now, Kevin Mays, human trafficker, kiddie porn addict, 28 different videos of kiddie porn on his website when they ran into his house, where they found drugs and guns. And our district attorney cut a deal where he will be out of jail next summer. Where does it say crime doesn't pay? Where does it say that? Because it certainly does in Kern County. Let's make a deal. And from this time forward, whenever I talk about the district attorney, her name is Monty Hall. That is what I'm alluding to, Cynthia Zimmerman. From this point forward, Monty Hall is running our top cop. Let's make a deal. Kevin Mays, would you like door number 1, where you could get a serious sentence and be sentenced with justice for putting a woman in slavery and human trafficking and do 15 years? Would you like door number 2, where somebody in her family comes and takes you out because you are a criminal that ruined this woman's life? Or would you like door number 3, where we'll sentence you for 4 years, we'll cook up a sweet deal with David Torres, and with time served and good behavior? The pimp is getting time off for good behavior. So now you're telling me that you get rewarded in prison for just minding your business and laying in your bunk? What is good behavior? Did he become a pastor? Was he having church services? Was he making cookies for the guards? What is good behavior? He showed up every day? Oh, wait, he had to show up every day. So for being in prison and not breaking the rules, which is a whole nother argument, because Sean Diddy Combs just got into a fight and was put in solitary confinement, and yet His sentence has been shortened. I'm at a loss, y'all. I'm at a loss. I don't understand the United States of America. Kevin Mays will be out of jail next summer. That is just about as crazy as it gets. There was more testimony in the Lindsay Clancy case. Lindsay Clancy is the woman who, let me explain myself for what is going to seem to be hypocrisy. Trials change day to day, and therefore one's opinion has to change based on testimony. I was very sympathetic for Lindsay Clancy yesterday because it seems to me any woman that would kill her 8-month-old child, let alone the 3 and the 5-year-old as well, with a rubber exercise cord and just strangle them out has to be crazy. I think I was wrong. And I'll explain why coming up at the bottom of the hour. It is a Thursday, so Mike Turnipseed will be here at 4 o'clock, and Daniel Petrie, our money man, at 4:30. And then in the 5, I can't read my writing. Please stand by. The Todd Blanche situation is getting ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. Somebody's got to explain this to me. Here's what I don't understand. So Tillis, as I explained to you 6 months ago when Trump refused to back Cornyn and he made an enemy out of Tom Tillis and he made an enemy out of Bill Cassidy. And I said, these guys still have a couple of months left on their term. So forget any legislation that Trump wants to get through. And of course, they're holding up Todd Blanche's confirmation as official top cop Attorney General of the United States. They're doing so because of a sweetheart deal that Trump has created with the IRS, where he essentially sued himself and has staved off any type of audit or examination of his taxes for in the future, which of course is crazy. Wouldn't we all like to have a deal like that? Wouldn't you love to have a deal like that where they can't look at your taxes in the future? Because who among us would pay them if they can't look at them? I certainly wouldn't. No, I probably would. And this $1.87 billion fund that's going to go to the rioters of January 6th, they're holding out on that. Now, you're asking me, then why do you think it's so stupid, Ralph? They're both sides holding their own. Because Todd Blanche has been confirmed as Deputy Attorney General. That they can't take away from him. So you know what that means, don't you? If he's the acting Assistant Attorney General, he can stay in that position and essentially be the Attorney General. There's nobody above him. I don't know, it's been in all the papers, but Pam Bondi's back in Florida. It's been in all the papers. So as the acting AG, there's nothing in the Constitution that says there's a time period or he can be the acting AG till Trump leaves. So who cares if he gets confirmed or not? And why does Tillis and these guys think they have leverage? Because if you think Trump is going to give up on his lack of audit of his taxes or that $1.87 billion fund he's been promising the January 6th rioters, if you think he's going to do that, you've lost your mind. He's absolutely thrown Blanche under the bus because they're not even going to vote on it. They were supposed to vote on it today. They're not going to vote on it. And these 3 idiots, these knucklehead senators, think they have leverage. You think Trump cares? Trump doesn't care. My attorney will still be my attorney, and he will still be the top cop of the United States, whether you vote for him and confirm him or not. Life just doesn't make. I'm telling you, with all that's going on in my personal life, my family life, and this country and the world, I'm just confused. You know how you think sometimes you've got life figured out? And then you go through those phases, I suppose, maybe it's just me, where it's just nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense to me. Nothing. Kevin Mays, next summer, playing basketball out on the streets. Yeah, what do you think? And the story of the day, as far as I'm concerned, the story really of the week, because it happened much earlier in the week, but everybody's just now getting to see the video and getting to hear from the 16-year-old. Have you seen the video of this Ryder Williams who came to the rescue? This 10-year-old almost got sucked into the ocean in Santa Cruz. You haven't seen this?
Oh, no, you know what? No, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. This kid was 16 years old. The victim was 10. And the witnesses say, and there's a hurricane that's just leaving, that's causing, in fact, they're still warning up and down the coast of California not to look out for serious waves and take second thoughts about surfing and being out on the coast this weekend. But witnesses claim that the kid was, as most were, just hanging around ankle-high water, and everything was calm. And then all of a sudden, just a plethora of waves sucked it out. And you've all been to the beach. You know how it is when the current, okay, so you get wave, the wave comes in, it knocks you down. And then it starts to suck back out, and you can't get out because it's moving you back, and you're trying to get like this. And it just kept doing this to this kid, and the waves just kept getting bigger. And they'd suck him back out, and they'd get bigger. And the 16-year-old lifeguard, first-year lifeguard, 16 years old, Ryder Williams, his dad's a fireman. He wants to be a fireman because firemen are badass. They've got, in some respects, the greatest job in the world because for like 200 days, they do absolutely nothing. But then when they do something, it's something you don't want to do, Jack. So I give all respect to firefighters. They are badasses. And they get to retire at 50, and it's a great life. It is a pretty good life. But when they work, they work. And they're, again, I think they're badasses. And this kid is going to be a badass fireman. His mom is like a marine scientist, so this is in his blood. But he goes in and saves his kid's life. And you see him dragging the kid. And then when the waves come, he kind of grabs him and ducks under the wave. And he's still fighting. And it took like 10 minutes to save this kid. And the most amazing thing about the story is that was one of 5 saves that the kid made. And he said to the news, that was one of the easiest ones. The one with the 10-year-old. The only difference between that one and the 5 others that were much more difficult, somebody caught the one with the 10-year-old on their phone. That's the only difference. But he said the other 5 that we did that very same day were much more difficult. So be careful if you're going to the coast this weekend. We are incredibly late. Let's get started. I'll try to get you caught up on the Fauci situation and why Rand Paul, senator from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, is justifiably calling up contempt charges. And I got to speak with Teresa Golder this morning, and she sent me some stuff that I'm going to read. And there's significant evidence to illustrate that Rand Paul may have a case for contempt of court or contempt of Congress, and perhaps even a perjury. He may have surrendered his Fifth Amendment rights. We'll talk about that. Oh, no, we won't. I won't be here next Tuesday. But we will discuss that when we come back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, it's the last day the governor of Kentucky wants Mitch McConnell to show some proof of life or have a special election. And today will be the day when we'll find out if that's actually going to happen. And all the state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus is celebrating 30 years in business by offering you no interest financing for 12 months. Head over to carpetoutletplus.com to apply now. You can get new waterproof flooring and comfy carpet in the bedrooms, all from one trusted place. Over 70,000 customers can't be wrong. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Very excited about my weekend. I'm taking a friend who's only been to Casey Steakhouse once, and they were there for an event, so they didn't even eat, but they liked the ambiance. And I said, wait till you get a hold of one of the best steaks you're ever going to have. And I'm going to turn them on to the Stockyard next door on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, where they have live music on Saturday. We have a lovely young woman named Lottie that plays. And of course, Bobby and Jimmy are playing live music Tuesday through Saturday in the main restaurant. But again, the ambiance, the age, the restaurant's almost 90 years old, and no one could have ever believed that Cassie Biddle would take this restaurant to where it is now, advancing, adding on to it, just building up on the menu, where it's not just simply all about steaks. I told you about the lobster mac and cheese, the fish dishes, the chicken dishes, you name it. Chef Daniel's done an incredible job of expanding the menu. Where would you rather be than on F Street at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsor of the Ralph Bailey Show?
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin, thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I'm a lover and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I play my loving all around.
Yeah, I was listening to the JR show today. Listening to you two knuckleheads talk about the states.
Hey, he brought it up.
No, it's a great topic, but you just two knuckleheads. It's Virginia's for lovers, not Vermont.
Virginia, gotcha.
And between the two of you, you've been to 8 states?
Well, no.
That's crazy.
You two need to get probably closer to 7 or 6 because we both have
I thought JR's been to 4, which I knew. Nevada,
I've been to about
Washington,
4 or 5.
California, and Hawaii.
We've both been to California and Nevada. So you don't count those twice.
No. You count them as one. You've both been about 4 states.
So, and I've only been, besides him, Arizona and Oklahoma.
You both need to get in a car, not necessarily together, but need to get into a car and go see this country.
I would love to do that. That's
mostly how I've seen. Just driving from Los Angeles to Georgia means that I've been to New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida. And then when I was living in Atlanta and dating Rhonda in Maryland, I've been to Virginia and North Carolina and South Carolina and Maryland and Delaware. And you need to get out more, guys. Google and Moogle it. I was also listening to the Tony Romo DUI, or in the state of Wisconsin, I guess it's OWI, operating while intoxicated. He's through, dude.
Oh, yeah, he's done.
I don't think CBS is going to return him because he lied to the officer, and that's on tape, where she asks him, how much have you had to drink tonight? And most of us idiots that get stopped for drunk driving, as I did in 2006, you know you smell like alcohol, and you know lying to the police is the worst thing you can do. So at least you try to temper the lie and say just a couple cocktails. Now, in my situation, I surrendered. I, in fact, told the officers, we don't even need to do the
sobriety.
So we really don't. I told you the story. A buddy of mine came into town. It was about 10:30 at night, and we closed a local bar. But Romo lied to the cops and said, I have not been drinking. And I can't imagine that CBS officials are going to be very happy with that. And the whole tape is just humiliating. He acts ridiculous. He insists on talking to his attorney. He just had, again, it's the Bailey theme. If there's one single cliche that emits from this show, it's never the error you make in life. It's how you handle it. And Romo handled it horribly. I really don't think I think they're going to try to get out of that contract. I really do. Drew Brees, Jason Kelsey, somebody. Quick timeout, back half of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
Sign Keith Peters in Washington. The United States and Iran each fired barrages of missiles as the pattern of back-and-forth strikes took hold again, and hope dimmed for a quick end to the 5-month conflict. Following a few days of respite, fears of a wider war have grown, with renewed fighting threatening to engulf even more countries. President Trump says he may withdraw and delay Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General until Republican senators who are seeking concessions from the top prosecutor leave office. Trump doubled down Thursday on choosing his former personal lawyer as the nation's top lawman, calling him a star and saying he will keep him in his role as acting Attorney General until Republican Senators John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina leave office next year. More details available at srnnews.com.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
If you live in the Caliente area, you should be aware that the fish fire is still burning, now 37% contained, but so far it has burned 4,200 acres, says the Kern County Fire Department. You should also be aware that the evacuation orders that were in effect have been lifted. In Lamont, 29-year-old Rodrigo Garcia has been charged with grand theft, vandalism, and possession of stolen copper wire after Kern County deputies say they caught him at Lopez Recycling and Wrecking trying to get rid of some copper wire that they say had been stolen from a farm company in Lamont. In Monterey County, 40-year-old Marcus B. is charged in the vandalism and destruction of several flock cameras and license plate readers in the Bradley and Lockwood communities. Police there say he was caught on video. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230, KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. Are you looking for a doctor who truly listens, someone who cares about your health and respects your time with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations? Well, it may be time to learn about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA partners with most Medicare Advantage health plans, giving you access to a large, community-based network of outstanding physicians and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Local doctors, trusted hospitals, personalized care. Medicare Advantage plans offer benefits beyond original Medicare, but understanding your options for 2026 can feel overwhelming. That's where we can help. Call 661-554-4544 today to learn more about your Medicare Advantage choices. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you understand your coverage options and make confident decisions about your care. Again, that's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, it's the last day the governor of Kentucky wants Mitch McConnell to show some proof of life or have a special election. And today will be the day when we'll find out if that's actually going to happen, and all the state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
God, we have no humidity here.
Exactly. And there's granted, it's warm air.
But a breeze,
opportunities. You're in a golf cart. You have opportunities while you're waiting to sit under the shade. It's not like you're walking.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in the sun, the whole day. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I can handle it. 842-537-6842 KERN. So you did get stuff I sent you. Here is first, before we get started, here's some audio that our crack staff, i.e. Chris Burdick, our producer, uncovered. This was unknown audio that was not released by the Senate yesterday from Anthony Fauci's testimony before the Senate committee. Here is Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say fifth. Go ahead and ask me a question. You will. If you got me, then I think you need to say.
And there's one more bite of Mr. Fauci. Here is Dr. Anthony Fauci.
I plead the fifth. No, but I can tell you that I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See, very few people have uncovered that Senate audio of Dr. Fauci. In one of the 111 times he used the Fifth Amendment. And it is amazing. And what is amazing to me is the reaction by the left, where they are supporting Fauci. Now, I will grant you, and I said yesterday that I don't fault Fauci for getting things wrong while we were stumbling around trying to chase a disease that none of us had ever seen before. We were all in the unknown. And if he said we should wear masks and we didn't have to, or if he closed and it was just a bad call, I'm not going to fault him for that. And I don't think that's the issue. And of course, that's where liberals went, because they can defend that, because you can defend that. How can you fault for somebody for getting it wrong with a disease that we knew nothing about, that was created in China and spread before we even, because I remember, I don't know about you all, but I remember thinking, there's no way it gets here. Like, even if there are a couple of folks that are in China, we'll be able to isolate those folks. And there's no way this thing's going to spread in the United States, was my opinion. But that's not the situation with Dr. Fauci. And again, I'm willing to admit I'm still very, very pro-vax. Again, as I grow old, I don't understand things. I don't understand how you could be against vaccinations. We now have head of our health department in this country who's against vaccinations. And guess what? Suddenly measles have popped up. Measles. Something when I was 12 years old was something that was completely in our rearview mirror. And now RFK Jr. is heading our health department, and measles are somehow rearising. So how people can fight against vaccines and claim that they cause autism, which there's absolutely no correlation, I just don't understand. But fine, we can even argue over that. But the idea that he lied that he told us one thing and then privately was saying another thing. And then when you dig deeper into the rabbit hole and find out, well, what was the motive? Why would he say it just naturally occurred? It was not created in the Wuhan Wuhan lab. Why would he defend the Chinese? And then we find out that he had a financial stake in the lab. That's unconscionable. And what he did to families who weren't able to be with their loved ones when they died, i.e. Ralph Bailey, who did not have any type of, our family had no type of service for my sister when she died on March the 21st. What that man did and his mistakes and trying to defend that lab, had he or others in this consortium of scientists that they put together had come out initially and said, there's no question. There's a possibility that it occurred naturally. Basically, if he had said what he said privately in these diaries that we found and these conversations that he had, who knows how many lives could have been saved? And who knows where the direction of how we handled this thing would have gone down. But being anti-vaxxers, I still don't understand that, because if I remember correctly, there was a guy named Donald Trump that came up with the vaccine. Remember Operation Warp Speed? So it's your guy that created the vaccination. It's your guy that took credit for saving millions and millions of lives. So I'm on the Trump team on this. You all are the anti-Trumpers on this if you're so anti-vax, but that's a whole nother conversation that I really don't want to get into. This is about Dr. Fauci, his financial interest in protecting the Wuhan lab and protecting the Chinese of all people. Here is the point man on this, the head of that committee and Senator from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Rand Paul.
You know, it's against the law to disrupt or obstruct a congressional investigation. There is a charge that can be voted upon called contempt of Congress. It's a resolution. If it passes, it will be sent to the Department of Justice with the recommendation of prosecuting. There is a
Stop right there. So basically, they're going to vote next week. They're going to send it to Trump's DOJ. And what do you think the Department of Justice is going to do? Trump's DOJ. Fauci is in deep doo-doo. And you know who had the most brilliant statement of the day yesterday was the president, who said when asked, I don't have the audio, but when asked, what do you think of Fauci taking the fifth? He said, well, obviously his attorney told him to do so. Which essentially, means his attorney knew that if Fauci answered certain questions, he'd be in deep doo-doo. And now it appears, based on my conversation with Teresa Golder and what Mr. Paul is about to tell you, he's still not out of hot water.
Justice with the recommendation of prosecuting. There is a legal question that attaches to this. Can the Fifth Amendment be taken, or can you ask for the Fifth Amendment protections when you've already been granted immunity through a pardon? I don't think this has ever been truly and fully adjudicated. There aren't that many people with pardons that have come before a congressional committee and refused to testify. So it's a limited number. But I think there are some precedents. But a court ultimately would have to determine, does the Fifth Amendment apply to someone who already has a pardon? The very last question I asked him was very specific to his pardon. Given the years that you were pardoned for, during that period of time, did you destroy records? And he refused to answer that. And I think he is protected completely. All it takes is an honest answer. Even if he has destroyed records, which we believe he did, his assistant had an email that we put forward that said, hey, Dr. Fauci, congratulations. I deleted tons of your emails over the weekend. So we do believe he destroyed records. That's against the law. And I think that he could have answered that honestly, and he would.
He's in trouble. He's in deep trouble. And if you don't think that Trump's DOJ is going to try to take this to the mat, And again, I've been blunt with you. I've been honest with you. I refuse to lie. I told you that they were never going to get Letitia James. It would have been really easy for me to lie and preach to the choir and say, oh, they're going to throw Letitia James behind bars. No, they're not going to get her. I told you they're not going to get James Comey for the 86 shells, implying that he was trying to kill the president. I told you that they weren't going to get the girl that went to Spelman when I was at Morehouse with the Fed. I can't remember her name. I told you they weren't going to get her, but they're going to get Fauci. They're going to get Fauci, as well they should. I think this at least goes to court. I think he absolutely lied. And this whole thing about documents, this is new to me. And when I talked to, here is, let me give you some more audio real quick. This is Jonathan Turley from Fox News.
But really, the tough moment for him came at the end when Senator Paul crafted a question that said, I'm asking you this question within the limits of the period of your pardon. Mm-hmm. Now, that was a very important framing because he's saying, I'm not asking you to say anything after the pardon, where he could obviously claim privilege. I'm talking about the period for which you were pardoned. That's going to present this in the clearest way to the court. Now, it was also raised whether he might have waived his privilege because he made a long statement, or a relatively long statement, before the invocation. That's also a type of murky area. He had not been asked a question at that point. But some of the senators have said, look, this is what we went through with Lori Lerner. She tried to make a statement and then said, I invoke, and she was held in contempt. So that's going to be another issue that they raise. I think that Chairman Paul is right. These are going to have to be resolved in the courts.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. It really is. And I don't mean, I guess I do want bad things to happen to this man because he lied. But I don't mean to go after him maliciously. But when I say it's going to be fun, you don't ever want to see somebody go down, even if you don't like them. But just to see what the court thinks and the precedent that's being set and the statement that he made and whether that negates his Fifth Amendment rights. I just, me, I'm a nerd about this. I'm a government nerd. I'm a law nerd. And just to see how this shakes out, and because it's going to set a precedent, because now witnesses who want to take the Fifth are going to come in and say, my name's Ralph Bailey, and that's about all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If they declare that statement waives his Fifth Amendment rights, or it'll even impact some pardons. You're not totally off the hook just because you get a pardon. It's going to be interesting to watch. It truly, 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 truly is. Let's go ahead and take a break. I want to play some Josh Hawley audio for you, just real quick. I thought it was kind of funny the way he went after him, and he made some solid points as well. The video story is so much better. It's one of the one times I'd love to be in television, because in the TV bit that I watched on Fox, they showed all the magazine covers he's on, because part of the diary is him talking about his celebrity, how I'm clearly the most famous man in America. I'm the most recognized man in America. Barbara Streisand called me for advice. He started name dropping and talked about the magazine covers he's on. And one of the magazine covers is, I can't remember. I just blacked out. In Style magazine. And he's sitting by a pool with a cocktail with a parasol in it, as if you were in the Bahamas, with sunglasses on in a lounge chair. This is America's Scientist on the cover of In Style magazine, looking like he's at a destination wedding in the Bahamas, with a cocktail and sunglasses, loving life and loving his new celebrity. Quick time out. Coming right back. Mr. Turnipseed joins us at the top of the hour, and our money man, Daniel Petrie, at 4:30. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 AM 1230, We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Maxwell in the morning. Good till the last mic drop.
Federal appeals court ruled the New Jersey's assault weapon law barring possession of a semi-automatic rifle is unconstitutional. The first time a federal appeals court has ruled that a state's assault weapons ban violated the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment, so this could be a huge one for here in California. Things could be changing for us gun owners.
Weekdays 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
You know, it must be nice to be able to retire like Serena Williams and then say, I'm unretired. But for most of us, that's not the case. When we hang it up, that's about it. That's why you've got to be prepared for the late fourth quarter in your lives. And that's why I always stress that the smartest financial move I have ever made happened about 10 years ago when I became a client at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And the other thing I always remind you about, I've turned on colleagues here at American General Media to Daniel, and they could not be happier about what Daniel has done for them financially. Call Daniel Petrie at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just tune in on Thursdays. He appears here every Thursday at 4:30, and his office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin. Look, folks, when it comes to IT support, not all companies are the same. Many make big promises, but very few have the depth of talent, advanced systems, and proven solutions that Grapevine MSP brings to the table. At Grapevine MSP, they don't just fix problems, they prevent them. Their fully managed IT services keep your systems running smoothly and securely 24/7. So when something happens at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to be stuck trying to reach your provider. Grapevine MSP's local team is already on it with advanced network monitoring. They generally catch the issue before you even notice, and they're calling you to say that it's already been handled. Their dedicated cybersecurity team protects you daily from evolving threats, while their industry-leading backup and disaster recovery keep your business online even in a crisis. All this for one simple, transparent monthly rate. Call 661-377-2992 or visit grapevinemsp.com to schedule your free network evaluation today. Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider. Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM.
I noticed that JR's music is much more ethnic than mine.
That's not true.
That
I
is
mix
so
it up
true.
with no. I do alternative rock during his all the time.
I didn't hear it. In the 2 breaks that I heard
you missed the whole first
I
hour. It
heard
was
some
all
funky,
alternative rock.
something funky, really funky.
Yeah, because I played
Like
Dr.
2:15.
Dre.
Yes, it was Dre at 2:15.
And I played California Love because we were beating.
I heard
California.
that too. Yep. That's the segment I was listening to when y'all were talking about states. 842-537-6842 KERN. So there was more testimony in the Lindsay Clancy case. And I want to explain my hypocrisy, what I said at the top of the show, where yesterday I truly had, I don't know if you call it empathy, but I just don't see how a woman who would kill her 3 children, one she just gave birth to 8 months ago, could be declared sane. But obviously she was, because it's gone to trial. Well, now I've had a change of thought in following the case a little bit closer, because in listening to the reporters, I'm not following Lisa, our associate producer. I should have in here as a guest because she's actually following the trial as it goes. I'm just getting snippets. But I did get a pretty good explanation from the CNN reporter this morning, who was putting forward a prosecution theory. And their theory is this is absolutely premeditated and that she absolutely made up her suicide attempt. And here is their evidence. They insist that she said she jumped out the window and tried to kill herself. And the prosecution is saying she basically cut herself up and that they're superficial wounds. They weren't wounds of someone who was trying to take their own life. And then they found blood along the shingles underneath the roof of the house, meaning they deduce, and their theory is, she didn't jump out of the window. She was climbing down the window. How is there blood from her on the shingles underneath the window if she leapt to her wanted death? And if you're making up a story about trying to kill yourself, then there was a plan, and this was premeditated. And I don't care how crazy, cuckoo, nutsy you are, if you plan to kill your children, this wasn't some psychotic episode where you just went, oh, and you had a voice and you just went nuts, but you actually sat down and said, okay, I'll cut myself up, and then I'll tell them that I jumped out of the window. I'll climb down the side of the house. I'll have the children dead in the basement. I'll be lying on the ground when my husband comes. And I'll do what she did when he arrives and say, I tried to kill myself. And then say that it was a psychotic episode that led to me wanting to kill myself, not only my children, but myself. So clearly, I'm psychotic. That's a plan. That's premeditated. And that's murder one. And that woman does not belong. I was absolutely wrong. I'm willing to admit it. That woman does not belong in a state house. That woman belongs in a hardcore penitentiary where she'll be harassed and harangued her whole life, because even prisoners, there are 2 things they don't like. They don't, even there's a code for in prison. They don't like you messing with children. And they particularly don't like sex offenders, and they don't like people who whack kids. So I apologize for my ranting and seemingly sympathetic feelings for this woman. I had no idea that she had this whole concocted plan where she was going to pretend that she killed herself. I don't know this for a fact, but I bet she broke the glass out of the window. I bet she didn't even pull up the window. I don't know that for a fact, but I bet for a fact she broke the glass out and then probably has a way to get on top of the roof. Everybody has a manner in which they get on top of the roof, and then tried to climb down and then fell. Because she's apparently she was a gymnast as a young person, because you do know she's crippled for life. She actually did fall, but the blood on the side of the panels indicates there was no leap. There was a climbing, and she fell, and she's paralyzed from the waist down, but that is a plan, and that's called premeditation. The interesting thing is the jury, and I've compared this to the OJ situation in some respects, but the jury is going to view the home. They get to go into the basement where the children were found. They get to see the side of the house where she, according to the prosecution, climbed down the side of the wall. They get to go into the bedroom. That is not very, very common, but it's going to happen. It's an interesting case. We'll be following this for quite a while. We head into the 4 o'clock hour on this Thursday. I believe Michael, no, I don't think so, because he's normally here early. He's on the phone? Jeez. We've got phone guests from now on, apparently. Michael Turnipseed is next.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump may pull Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General.
President Donald Trump says he may withdraw and delay acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination to avoid conceding to demands by Republican Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis until after they leave their posts next year. Cornyn and Tillis say they won't back Blanche's nomination without additional assurances in writing about a legal settlement, which included a deal to drop tax claims against the president and a now scrapped plan to create an almost $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Just one Republican holdout on the Senate Judiciary Committee could sink Blanche's chances for confirmation. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A first of its kind CDC study finds deadly mold infections may be more common than doctors realize.
Researchers detected about 450 cases in Atlanta area hospitals over 5 years, and about a third of the patients died in the hospital. The study found hospitals can expect to see 3 to 5 cases per year for every 100 inpatient beds. Senior study author Dr. Jeremy Gold says it's important to understand because the problem may grow in the future as more people are exposed to mold in the wake of natural disasters influenced by climate change. Infections are especially dangerous for the elderly and patients with weakened immune systems. The study highlights the need for hospitals to be aware of potential cases, especially in areas prone to mold problems. I'm Jennifer King.
The United States and Iran have each fired barrages of missiles as the pattern of back-and-forth strikes takes hold again, and hopes dim for a quick end to the 5-month conflict. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 613 points, the Nasdaq rose 679, the S&P 500 advanced 121. More at townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
15 elephants in Kenya have died of cyanide poisoning.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
The evacuation warnings are over, but the fire burns still. I'm Chris Davis. The fish fire has been tough for Kern County firefighters to get a handle on, and one of the reasons is because of the steep terrain where the fire is located near Caliente. Right now, it is about 37% contained and has burned 4,200 acres since it started about noon Monday. The Kern County Fire Department says the evacuation orders that were in place for people in the Caliente area have been lifted. To help solve the problem of the steep hills, firefighters have been using helicopters to try and douse the fire. Copper wire theft has long been a problem in this area, and now the Kern County Sheriff's Office says they arrested someone who they believe stole a lot of wire from a farming company in Lamont. They say 29-year-old Rodrigo Garcia was caught red-handed trying to unload some copper wire at Lopez Recycling and Wrecking Yard. He has been charged with grand theft, possession of stolen copper wire, vandalism, and drug possession. And speaking of vandalism, just because you don't like the flock cameras does not mean that you get to destroy them. 40-year-old Marcus B. of Pismo Beach is under arrest after authorities say that he drove to Monterey County and destroyed at least 3 flock cameras, ramming them with his truck in Lockwood and Bradley. He also, according to the report, destroyed some license plate readers. The reason that police believe it was him, he was caught on surveillance video. None of the sewer rate increases for county residents passed at Tuesday's Board of Supervisors meeting. That happened after extensive discussion about the rate increases in Bakersfield that many people who live in the city and even county supervisors consider unfair. When the vote was taken, there simply were not enough votes to pass rate increases for now, which would be substantially less than the increases for the city. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I'll tell you less well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday. The final Thursday in July. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230. Streaming live at KERNradio.com. Coming up about the hour, Daniel Petrie will join us. We'll talk money with him. Excuse me. We'll get into the Todd Blanche situation. They pulled the vote on the would-be Attorney General. Give you the ins and outs on that. I'll tell you the great story of Ryder Williams, a 16-year-old lifeguard up in Santa Cruz that saved the life of a 10-year-old. And the amazing story is it's a miraculous save that was caught on footage of obviously somebody's phone. But the young 16-year-old says, I had 5 more difficult rescues earlier that day. They just weren't caught on camera. And so it's a great story. His dad's a fireman. His mom is a marine scientist. Then he wants to be a firefighter. 16 years old. He's been a lifeguard for a year. I told you I washed out as a lifeguard. I tried to be a lifeguard when I was about 20, 21 at Morehouse. And they flunked me because there's a portion of the lifeguard exam where you have to jump in with your clothes to save somebody. And I kicked off my tennis shoes. So they flunked me. And I said, why, if in the middle of a rescue, if I kick off my shoes to help save the person's life? And they were like, that's not the point of the exercise. The exercise is to see how you could do it if you had to do it immediately and didn't have time. And I said, screw you guys. And went back to my dorm room. In the meantime, it is a Thursday. And once again on this Thursday, I sit alone in the American General Media Studios because apparently somebody doesn't like to work. Who is running the ship at Kern Tax?
Mr. Bailey, I can assure you, I have been on my computer already about 5.5 hours today.
Oh,
so I don't go anywhere without my laptop,
and I still get emails. And you know, when people go on vacation, they send you an email out saying, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. Here, call this person, take my place. I don't have anybody to take my place. So I answer my phone calls, return my phone calls, return my emails on the same day that I get them. So there is no rest for the wicked, and I'm a pretty wicked guy, evidently.
How long have you been gone now? Is it 3?
In and out. I made a couple
3
trips
weeks.
back for a day or two because I had things to do. But I'm coming home tomorrow. It's the end of the month.
So it all comes back to a regular schedule. We will see you live in studio. Well, not next week.
Well,
I won't be here. You can come if you want to, but I won't be here.
Oh, who's sitting for you?
A whole host of folk. Kathy Abernathy, Clayton Campbell, et cetera, et cetera.
So if they need me, they'll call me.
That is true. That is true. What would you like?
So what do you want to talk about today? Because I made a list. I was listening to all the states you guys went to, and I started thinking back over my life how many states I've been to.
How many states have you been to, Michael?
32.
32. I think my number is 25. You've probably been to Midwestern states that I have not been to. The Midwest is my void area. Not on purpose. I just have never been there.
51 years ago. 1975, middle of June to middle of July. I had just graduated from UC Davis, and a longtime friend, Tom Edick, who also graduated. He's a vet. He's the vet in Wasco. We went on a road trip back east. We were gone for 29 days.
Wow.
Drove across the country, went up to D.C., went up the East Coast to Maine, came across into Canada, came through Canada, down into Michigan, back around, got Milwaukee, hit Mount Rushmore in South Dakota.
Just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Well, but isn't that cozy?
Yeah. I mean, we wanted to do a road trip, and so we went on a road trip.
You didn't get my
It was
rude...
almost 9,000 miles.
You didn't get my rude implication there, Mr. Turnipseed?
Well, whatever. Just an implication.
The two of you together for 29 days on the road? Cozy.
Yeah.
Cozy.
Was cozy, yes.
I bet it was. Well, because of my trips across country, I've been to many states. I don't know, I guess that counts. I mean, I've stayed there. Like I said, I've been through every southern state. I've been to a couple of weird states. Technically, does it count if you've been on the tarmac?
Well, I didn't count Georgia because I've been through Georgia. I was at the airport for 2 hours.
I didn't
really
count it
didn't
either
count
because I've been to
that.
Texas technically in the
See,
airports.
I think that counts.
Well, then I'll count that. Add another state then.
Yes, because I think I can
2
say
hours in Atlanta.
I should it count if you don't get off the plane though?
No, I had to change planes.
Oh, see, I didn't have to. I was on a tarmac in Illinois, and I was in a tarmac in Kansas.
Did you never got off the plane?
Never got off the plane.
I
It was
don't
one
think
of
that
the honor flight. Remember the honor flight that couldn't get back to Bakersfield?
That's right.
And we had to stop in Wichita, but we didn't get off the plane. So do I count Kansas and Illinois? You say no,
Yep,
Chris?
You touched down.
Chris says
I
no.
say no.
He says no because I didn't get off the plane.
Oh, okay.
It's like, are we counting if you
I'm a little more
drove through in a
generous than
car? Are we counting that too?
But if somebody had called me as I'm sitting on the tarmac and said, "Where are you?" I would have said, "Wichita, Kansas."
True.
Where else was I?
On a plane in Wichita, Kansas?
Well, I was in Wichita, Kansas.
in
Car,
route
plane.
to Bakersfield.
That's right. That's right. One of the scariest flights I ever took in my life, boy. Scariest flights I took in my life. But yeah, I was telling JR and Chris that they need to do what you did. Not necessarily together, but just get in the car and see the country. You know, it's an amazing, everybody talks about, I want to go to Europe, I want to go to Spain, I want to go, America's a beautiful, beautiful country, and most people haven't seen it. If you've never been to New York, Washington, D.C., somewhere in the South, I don't care where, just somewhere in the South, if you've never been to Texas, and what else is a must-see? And I think Hawaii is a must-see. If you've never been to any of those states, Stop talking about Europe and go see your damn country. What say you?
You know what was most memorable, Ralph?
What was that?
We stopped one morning for breakfast in the middle of Nebraska in Timbuktu land. And we were in gym shorts and T-shirts and flip-flops driving around the country because we weren't planning on stopping anywhere except to eat. And we go in this little cafe, and it's full of all these farmers with their bib overalls on, and they're all sitting there with their hats drinking coffee. And here comes two kids walking in the door in shorts and a T-shirt. And they look at us, and they go, "Where are you guys from, California?" And he says, "How did you guess?"
That's funny.
And so we talked to those old timers and had a chat with them. And we're doing a road trip, and this is what we're doing, and we're seeing America and doing all that. And that was one of the more memorable days because we actually sat down with them and had a conversation.
I have been in Nebraska. I got offered a job in Lincoln and hated it. I knew when I got off the airplane.
There's nothing in Lincoln.
I knew
Lincoln it was unbelievable. We stopped in Lincoln, got on the road, and really?
Just flat,
there's
nothing.
a football stadium out in the middle of nowhere.
Which changes the population when they have football games there.
Yeah, it goes up 100,000.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But anyway, a little bit of business here. Next week, I guess the city council is going to talk about the sanctuary city thing.
Yes, they are.
So basically, they're going to find out, I spent a few hours researching it in state law. We already have the California state law, and Bakersfield already does not assist in immigration. They've already done that because state law prohibits it, and there's all kinds of things that go through. But the speakers at the meeting a couple of weeks ago talked about being afraid to drive to the grocery store or send a child to school. Those fears, I get why the people have it. But if the city is going to tell them that they're going to do anything in a city ordinance to make that go away, that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, what we have is what we have. And what we really have to worry about, and we're asking them, the city attorney, actually to write a formal letter advising the council what they can and cannot do, which we have not seen yet. Because the federal government can actually sue you and take away whatever federal dollars we do receive. And we would like the city attorney's opinion on how much that is. The city, when you take away transportation dollars, and we've only been able to identify like $6 or $7 million, like for homelessness and some of this other stuff that we use. But New York City paid a $92 million fine plus court costs, because they got the fight with the federal government and actually lost the ruling. So it could be serious money, and the city council needs to know what the financial risk is before they make the decision.
Given the fact that we are a sanctuary state, are we not?
Yes.
Does it really matter at the end of the day? Other than I don't personally like it. I don't personally want us to do it, but legally, technically, does it make a difference?
We are specifically asking the attorney to support the council and basically lay it out and tell them what would happen. What is the real answer, and what operationally is going to happen? We don't think the city can do any more than what they're doing now.
Right.
And we also want a fiscal analysis of what you're putting at risk if you do things outside the boundaries where the feds can go after our money. Those are the two big decisions that never came up in the last meeting, the actual consequences of being a sanctuary city.
So where does this stand right now?
You do like Delano did, and when they looked at it, they made the decision back in March. We're doing all we can do legally, so we're following state law. We're protected. We can't get sued. And you don't want the federal government suing you, because they have more money than God, and the Bakersfield City doesn't have that much money anymore to play around and waste it in court cases. So our advice, because this isn't necessarily this is not our lane. We don't take positions on federal immigration policy.
We should
But
be.
our lane is taxpayer money,
right?
And we don't want to put taxpayer money at risk to fight a losing battle.
Why was this not raised at the meeting?
Because I didn't expect it coming. I was watching the meeting. As it happened. Just because I don't attend every meeting doesn't mean I don't watch every meeting.
Right.
And so that's part of what I do. And I watched the meeting and listened to him and listened to Andre Gonzalez give his little speech. And Mr. Corman gave a speech. They were already doing things. But then I had to sit down and write letters to the city manager saying, hey, you didn't answer this. You need to answer that. Get ready for the next meeting. So that's kind of what I do because a lot of times.
So basically, you're telling me that you have to tighten up the staff, the city manager, and of course, our inept city council. That only Michael Turnipseed knew that, wait a second, fellas, there could be some ramifications from this.
Well,
this is crazy.
The staff has not responded to the reply. So I want to make sure that the staff, I'm just giving them, this is what Current Tax would like to see. We would like to see her analysis of what we can actually do in excess of the state, which is virtually nothing from my research.
Yeah, but Michael, don't you see what my question?
What's the financial risk?
But see, don't you understand what I'm asking you? Why are you the great Wizard of Oz? Why isn't somebody down there in Truxton doing this and asking these questions?
I don't know internally what the cities are doing, but my job is to monitor them and to write letters and write memos and call people up and make sure that I represent the Kern County Taxpayers Association and what our views are. And we want to make sure that taxpayer money is protected and you don't get into needless lawsuits, especially against the federal government.
Yeah. Wow. It's like the blind leading the blind. Aren't you astounded? Not you. I'm not talking about you. You're the one that's opening the eyes. I'm asking the question. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I don't understand why they aren't concerned about this. Why they didn't come up with this. Why are you the super genius?
Let me answer it because I know I don't have a lot of time left. They came up, there were 9 people that addressed the city asking them to establish a sanctuary city.
Right.
These people obviously don't know the law.
Yes, I don't mind.
But you're talking about to be sanctuary cities doesn't mean Bakersfield is going to be a sanctuary.
But you're talking about citizens. I'm asking, why doesn't the city attorney know this? Why doesn't Clegg know this? Why doesn't Go know this? Why doesn't the city council know this? Why doesn't the staff know this? Why is this some secret that Michael Turnipseed has that nobody that has power seems to understand?
Because I was able, after watching the meeting, to spend a couple hours on my computer and use new technology to pull up laws, read laws, and stuff that they did not have in front of them when the people. Andre Gonzalez replied to the people speaking, the 9 that asked, and made a referral back to the council to bring it back. So hopefully there will be a staff report, hopefully written by the city attorney, giving legal advice to the council. Now we're going to step 2. The step 1 is that everybody sat there and everybody kind of pontificates and when you put their position, well, we have to do something for this, but sometimes you can't do anything. And I think Andre deep down knows he can't do anything because the city of Delano rejected it for all the right reasons because they don't want to get into litigation with the federal government. That's the bottom line. You just open yourself for litigation, and the city is still under litigation in the Department of Justice and the police department. It's been going on for 5 or 6 years. It costs $2 million a year to do this whole thing with the police department over some of their charges that came from the Department of Justice. So those things go on under the covers of night, but those things that still go on in the city and the county. Both the city and the county are under DOJ examination right now, and they haven't solved it in 5 years.
What if these things are not brought up? When's the next meeting? Next week?
this next week.
What if it's not brought up?
Well, I'm going to be there to bring it up.
Again, the theme of today's show is I just don't understand.
I'm waiting for the city's agenda to come up. It's not posted as of 3:30 this afternoon. It was not posted for next week's meeting. It'll probably be posted tomorrow. And I will look at it and work on it over the weekend and get my response and get up and be able to talk to them and ask my questions and warn them not to move forward until you actually identify what the risks are.
That would be prudent.
That's what I do.
Well, then on the 13th of August, when I return, we will discuss it in great detail, and hopefully you'll tell me that they identified that, they realized that, and they're going to punt on this stupid, ridiculous idea. But I doubt that's going to be the case. I think you're going to open up their eyes next week, and they're going to be like, what? Huh? What? Where, what?
I have seen a lot of social media. There have been meetings held by different groups that are the local Republicans is the biggest response. Different groups, there's different Republican groups out there, and they're all lining up their ammunition for next week.
Good. I hope so. Hell, if I'm in town, I might even stop by. Check it out.
You should. You could be like JR and they cut you off. You can say, hey.
No, I don't need to speak, but I would certainly like to witness this stupidity firsthand. So,
welcome. Get there early, Ralph.
Well, I can only be there so early. What time does it start?
I don't know if it's on the 3:30 or the 5:15 agenda. It depends.
Well, either way, I can't be there.
I will let you know when I find out.
Very good. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mike Turnipseed. Quick time out. Read a couple of text messages, then bring Daniel Petrie into the fold. Bottom of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 AM 1230. We're streaming live at KernRadio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, it's the last day the governor of Kentucky wants Mitch McConnell to show some proof of life or have a special election. And today will be the day when we'll find out if that's actually going to happen. And all the state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his long-standing and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Central Valley remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Dreams will come true. Miles away, and we will live together until the death of never. Our voices will ring forever as one.
842-5376, 842-KERN. You know, this was Zendaya's choice for if she had to have an album. If she had an album or one person, I was just going to take her husband, Tom. I love Tom Holland.
Same. He's great.
I didn't know he was such a stud.
Oh, he's awesome.
Dude, you know he's a 10 handicap?
Yep. I did hear that in an interview.
I saw him.
Gymnast and all this different type of stuff.
He was playing with Patrick Harrington. I must have been old because at the time Harrington was the captain of the Ryder Cup. So it must have been a while back. And they were playing a par 5. And Tom Holland, Spider-Man, said, I'm going to hit driver off the deck, which is one of the hardest things to do in golf. And Harrington says, he's got about 240 to the pin. And Harrington tells him, if you can get it on the green, I'll put you on the Ryder Cup. And Holland stops his swing and goes and shakes his hand. And then he gets all serious, and he's got a sweet swing. And he missed it by about 10 yards. And Harrington said, you had me scared there for a minute, boy.
I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Seattle's police chief has resigned amid criticism of the city's response to a fatal shootout at a food festival last weekend. Mayor Katie Wilson said Thursday. The announcement follows hours of speculation about whether Police Chief Sean Barnes would step down, as some of his supporters said he had rebuffed Wilson's request that he resign. Federal regulators are clearing the way for robo-taxis to operate without steering wheels or eventually even brake pedals. Amazon's fully autonomous Zoox vehicles got approval Thursday to begin charging customers for rides in the specially designed cars that feature 4 inward-facing seats once they secure state and local approval. On Wall Street, the Dow by 613 points, the Nasdaq rose 679. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
If you live in the Caliente area, you should be aware that the fish fire is still burning, now 37% contained, but so far it has burned 4,200 acres, says the Kern County Fire Department. You should also be aware that the evacuation orders that were in effect have been lifted. In Lamont, 29-year-old Rodrigo Garcia has been charged with grand theft, vandalism, and possession of stolen copper wire after Kern County deputies say they caught him at Lopez Recycling and Wrecking trying to get rid of some copper wire that they say had been stolen from a farm company in Lamont. In Monterey County, 40-year-old Marcus B. is charged in the vandalism and destruction of several flock cameras and license plate readers in the Bradley and Lockwood communities. Police there say he was caught on video. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230, KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. Are you looking for a doctor who truly listens? Someone who cares about your health and respects your time with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations? Well, it may be time to learn about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA partners with most Medicare Advantage health plans, giving you access to a large, community-based network of outstanding physicians and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Local doctors, trusted hospitals, personalized care. Medicare Advantage plans offer benefits beyond original Medicare, but understanding your options for 2026 can feel overwhelming. That's where we can help. Call 661-554-4544 today to learn more about your Medicare Advantage choices. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help you understand your coverage options and make confident decisions about your care. Again, that's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
Maxwell in the morning. Good till the last mic drop.
The state of California needs money because of the way we've been spending our Medicare money. They decided that we need to talk to you guys about this. How about if we withhold $867 million from you? Will that get your attention? You now have the Trump administration, and they have greater expectations of you. So if you can't deliver, they ain't going to deliver either.
Weekdays 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to The Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
A very underrated Commodore song. Very underrated. Never really made it, but it's part of a really good album. Turn it up a little bit. Just a bunch of guys from Tuskegee, Alabama, where Tuskegee University is located. I believe that was the name of the album. Zoom. Am I right about that? No?
The album cover I'm looking at doesn't have a name, but you might be right on that.
I think it was. I think it was called Zoom. I really do. It's a Thursday.
Oh, I actually thought
I didn't think you called him. We're waiting to talk with Daniel Petrie, our money man, as we do every Thursday. I'm shocked Daniel didn't call in after about a minute or two. And then coming up at 5, we'll get into the Todd Blanche situation, who is going to be our Attorney General. Todd Blanche, that's who. Whether they vote him in or not. It's the dumbest kind of kabuki dance I've ever seen because he's been appointed Deputy AG, right? He was confirmed as the Deputy AG. And there is no AG. It's been in all the papers. Pam Bondi's down in Florida somewhere. So as the deputy, you are automatically the AG. The confirmation hearing is really just kind of like a quinceanera, just kind of a celebration. If they vote him, they pull the vote because of this IRS deal that the president cooked up for himself, which is an incredibly sweetheart deal where he has no audits, no examinations in the future, and this $1.87 billion fund that he wants to give away money to the January 6th rioters. I do believe we have our money man, Daniel Petrie. How are you, Mr. Petrie?
I am doing well, Ralph. How are you?
I am, I've been better. There's some weird things going on. You know some of the stuff going on in my life, and there's other stuff, and there's other stuff, and it all seems to happen right around my birthday. It just is just every year, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Let me ask you, however, are you going to be visiting Los Angeles this weekend by any chance?
No.
You need to get out, Daniel.
Am I supposed to go to Los Angeles this weekend?
Yes. You should get the wife, spend a little money, and go to LA.
And what are we doing in LA?
The Boston Red Sox are in town.
Oh.
Now, wouldn't that be a fun date?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Avoiding 3-digit temperatures, you and the wife at Dodger Stadium. I would even let me even hook you up even more. I would get a crowbar and crack open that wallet of yours and stay at the bottom.
That's a big crowbar, my friend.
And stay at the Bonaventure downtown. Woo! And go to the Dodger game and spend the night at the Bonaventure and go to the top of the Bonaventure where it has a oscillating seating on the edge and view beautiful downtown Los Angeles. Treat your wife to a wonderful weekend.
I did not know that we were playing the Dodgers this weekend.
Yes.
Seattle. I have a friend who lets me go to Dodger. He has good seats, and periodically he'll say, "Do you want to go?" Usually it's because nobody else does. But had I known this, I might have. Of course, I'm sure it's a weekend, so big, and that's not necessarily a rivalry, but those are two big sports teams. So.
Hey Siri, show me the Dodgers schedule. I'm pretty sure it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Friday at 7:10, which means we're playing Saturday and Sunday there too, I'm sure.
It's too late to call your boy?
Sunday's probably an afternoon game. I'll talk to him tomorrow, see what he says.
Ooh, be careful of that afternoon game. Where is tickets?
If they're near the first base.
Ooh. That's a day in the sun.
Yeah, I know. When we typically go, we the first time we kind of baked, and I'm like, we need sunscreen here.
Yeah, you need sunscreen and maybe big hats because that's 2.5 hours in the sun all day long.
Although the Sunday game's at 4:20 and not 1:10, so.
Oh, there you go. That's a beautiful time in the afternoon in Los Angeles. It'll be even if it's in the 80s. See, that's what I love about LA and I hate about Bakersfield. Bakersfield gets warmer throughout the day. Like 5, 6 is like the apex. In LA,
do something at 6 or 7, it's still 100.
Yeah, you want to have a barbecue in the evening, it's still warm. But in LA, it starts to cool off. The marine layer returns, and it starts to cool off at 6, 7 in the evening. In fact, it gets cold. It can be 88 degrees on a Saturday day, and it can be chilly in the evening in LA.
That is nice.
If you're along the coast, at least near the beach.
Well, the change is nice. I like have to put on a sweater if I go for a little walk in the evening or something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sure I would have known because I follow the Red Sox, so I'm like, let me see how they're doing today, and I would have seen, they're playing the Dodgers.
Coming to town, which is rare. They don't come to LA that often.
No.
I would guess once a year.
I had a girlfriend in college who took me to see the Red Sox at Anaheim Stadium.
Yeah? You ever been to Fenway?
I have not. I was scheduled for when I was at more? It was related to investments, and I was going to a swag deal in Boston. And I was like, I don't give a hoot about that. I want to see Fenway Park. I want to see Cheers. So I had my whole itinerary kind of planned.
Yeah.
And I was going to do a tour of Fenway. It wasn't during baseball season, but the flight out of Bakersfield got canceled or delayed so bad that they were going to put me up in LA it was a disaster for a short trip. And I said, I'm just not going.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I missed it. But that was going to be my chance to get to Fenway, and it didn't work out.
I've been to Boston once with my dad for an interview at Boston University where I was not accepted. And all I remember is we were in the airport, and I remember turning to my dad and I said, God, their clam chowder is so good. It's good at the airport.
Ooh.
It was like some of the best clam chowder I'd ever had. And it was at the damn airport. I was like, now that's good clam chowder. If you can have good clam chowder at a freaking airport, because airport food is traditionally not very good.
No.
Not very good.
Airports are, if I'm not in a hurry, because I enjoy people watching, I can have a decent time at an airport.
That's funny you say that. I love airports.
Yeah.
I hate flying, but I love airports.
Well, I typically don't like crowds, so that's challenging for me. But if if the pace is just right and I'm in the right frame of mind, I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I've been to a lot of airports, and I do. That's weird that you say that. My favorite airport is Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson.
I mean, I can't believe. Yeah, most people hate it. They hate the process. They hate airports. But people fascinate me, and I enjoy people watching.
Yep, I enjoy people watching as well. And I've had some interesting meetings at airports.
Yeah,
I met Pat Summerall, the late great Pat Summerall, in Atlanta, and I don't tell the story in context of me meeting him. I tell the story because he was a recovering alcoholic at the end of his life. He got a hold of his life, reconnected with his daughter, Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff for Donald Trump.
Right.
And he reconnected with her, and he got baptized, and he found himself, and at the end of his life, he was a good, clean man. But he was a roaring drunk for a while, and he admitted this. And I'll never forget, I was sitting, Atlanta has 4 concourses, A, B, C, and D. That's how it's the busiest airport in the world. It used to be O'Hare.
Huge hub,
used to be O'Hare. Now it's Hartsfield Jackson. And he walked in, and without saying a word, the bartender said, "Hey, Pat," and turned around and made him a drink. And I was like, he's a regular at a bar in a concourse with 4 different concourses?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
And each concourse has at least 6 bars in them. You know what I'm saying?
A man who likes to drink.
Yeah, he was a roaring, and I'll never forget. It was vodka on the rocks. Vodka on the rocks.
Pretty
what he was drinking. Pretty simple. Said, "Hey, Pat." Turned around, poured it, handed it to him. "Thanks, Bill."
I think probably Phoenix has been the hub I've been at the most because of Southwest.
Sky Harbor is a neat airport.
Yeah,
it really is. I like Sky Harbor a lot.
Little time in Chicago, little time in LaGuardia, but some of those are too much for me. It's New York is a weird pace.
Yeah. I actually slept overnight in the airport at Fort Lauderdale.
That'd be tough for me.
Yeah, my 11:30 flight got canceled. It's when they sent me to Vero Beach when I was at Buckley Radio. And my 11:30 flight got canceled, and the next flight was at 6 a.m. So I slept at Fort Lauderdale. And I'll never forget waking up, because I was younger, so I could sleep like a log, and just waking up to hustle and bustle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was laying on like a little couch, and I wake up, and just, it's like a busy airport. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Crazy.
The hustle and bustle at some of those. Quick trip in New York, and a buddy and I are walking. We're doing a little sightseeing. Nothing's open because it's kind of at night. And we stopped for coffee at a coffee place because, we're out and about. And I can have caffeine and still sleep, but he can't. It'll keep him up. So we ordered decaf. And the people working there kind of look at each other like we're aliens. And finally I say, "Is there a problem?" And they go, "Yeah, this is New York. We don't have decaf." And I don't know if that was true, but
we don't have decaf. But that is funny.
Yeah, New York, they don't sleep. We don't do the
That's
fake
funny.
stuff. We're caffeine all day.
Do you remember Charlie Rose?
That name sounds familiar.
He used to be on ABC. He was Good Morning America. He was Rose. I got to sit with him for about an hour in Dallas once. Really nice guy. I was on my way to the 88 convention. We were both on our way to the 88 convention, Democratic National Convention in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
And I got to sit and pick his brain for like an hour. It was really fun.
I think people are, I don't want to say less inhibited, but more open, I think, at airports.
I think so, too.
Everybody's kind of going through something, so their guard is down a little bit.
Although I think that's changed. I think that's changed now. Because decorum in airports has changed. People are weird. At least, and I base this on what I watch on.
More angry?
Yes. More
Okay,
confrontations.
Yeah.
Getting into it when their flight gets canceled and blaming it.
in a hurry to get somewhere they don't need to be and mad that's taking so long.
Yes, and decorum is just out the window. And I can't tell you how many videos I watch of people being taken to jail because they've cursed out the woman at the terminal trying to explain to her that, no, you can't get on the flight, blah, blah, blah.
And yet, what makes them think they can change airport policy on a whim? I mean, you're just a traveler. You're not. That's funny, but not funny.
I guess we got a couple of minutes to talk about money.
Yeah.
At 4:48.
We got off track a little bit today.
Just a little
right.
bit.
It's
Just a
fun
little bit.
sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a short timer. I got 1 foot on the 405 and 1 foot in the studio.
Well, we'll see you at the Dodger game then.
Yeah, I was hoping. What's going on these days? More and more deficit, I'm assuming.
Amazingly, it went up a big amount again, a little over $94 billion for the week.
Is that the war?
So I'm assuming so, because we've had a couple now big weeks back to back, and it's.
I can't remember the last time we had 2 weeks like that.
We're going to hit. We were thinking we'd hit 40 before the end of the year. We might do it in late October, early November now.
Crazy. Our poor kids.
Very bizarre.
I know I say it every Thursday, but our poor kids and our grandkids.
Yeah, it
feel
just.
For them.
Again, it's always talked about, and maybe when we hit 40, the number will bring attention, but it's lip service. Nobody does anything.
Yeah, they're not going to do a damn thing.
Gold and silver have rallied a little bit. Gold's,
always good to hear.
A little over 4,100.
All right, let's
Silver's
go.
59.25. So they were both up good. Gold 1.5 for the week, and silver a little over 2.5.
Like to hear that.
Hopefully, I think those are, if they haven't bottomed, they are forming a bottom after the big correction from the end of January. So we have definitely spent enough time correcting, and the price has been, and I'm looking for a run like we had in late 25, where clients were very happy. I think we're going to have, nobody knows for sure, of course, we can't tell the future, but I think we're going to have a good run again in that sector.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yep. And let's check stock futures.
Please.
Even with everything going on crazy, have been hanging in there okay. Futures are up a little bit overnight.
Always good to hear as well.
We had two tech giants with earnings after hours. Amazon must have reported good because they are up a little over $20 after hours. That's pushing a 10% move. But I think Apple disappointed because they're down about $20, which was maybe down 6%.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, one's good, one's bad. I don't know. I'm assuming the market likes the good and is going to kind of ignore the bad, maybe. But NASDAQ futures are, they're up a little bit.
Okay.
Nothing major, but hopefully it'll continue, and hopefully we can get this darn Iran war settled or behind us, or one way or another.
I didn't even put it on the rundown today, even though there were strikes by both sides, and apparently a massive strike is imminent, although I don't believe that. I didn't even put it on the rundown today. I talked about it yesterday and had some guy tell me that I don't understand the plan, which I don't, because I don't see a plan. And I'm going on vacation. I ain't going to talk about it tomorrow. I ain't talking about it today. And then I'm going on vacation. Y'all can talk about it. Hopefully, maybe something will change by the time I get back.
Well, your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a good break and you have a great little vacation.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And then we're going to do
travels. I hope your mom is well. Mom's progressing well.
Yes, she is. And we're going to do dinner one day next week. No?
Yeah. Who? We. I thought
you and I.
And your mother.
You and I. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have dinner with her eventually, but I'm going to be here for a couple of days, so we'll do dinner next week.
Yeah. We'll fit it in.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay,
Always good to talk to you. You too. Bye. Daniel Petrie. Quick break. Coming right back. We'll check the board, then get into the 5. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio. News Talk.
Adaptive
Got one.
RN. First Look with Scott Cox. Morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, it's the last day the governor of Kentucky wants Mitch McConnell to show some proof of life or have a special election. And today will be the day when we'll find out if that's actually going to happen. And all the state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. Right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
If you're a local businessman and you take your IT seriously, there are two things that you absolutely need to do. One, you need to listen to the Ralph Bailey Show on Wednesdays at 3:30 when Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne, owner-operators of Adaptive Networks, come in, basically talking to business folks on what you should be looking for, what should be alarm bells when people are coming back and fixing the same thing over and over again. And the next thing you need to do is pick up the phone and call the Van Alstynes at Adaptive Networks at 241-0638. 241-0638. As I have talked about so often, we have teamed up for almost a year with American General Media and Adaptive Networks because as a radio station, we absolutely depend on our IT. So we had to go to a team that was reliable, competent, and has the best customer service in Kern County. If you're a serious business person, call the folks at Adaptive Networks at 241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Young and dumb little girl, coming beneath the nose of water, and when she passes, I smile, but the girl doesn't. She won't just. 812-537-6842 KERN. What do you got on the board? Before we give him the 5.
Proof of how perceptions can be so divergent. Mr. Bailey described Tony Romo as making a fool of himself, while I saw excerpts from a podcast involving 2 Texas lawyers, one of whom is Ken Paxton's former attorney. That gentleman described Tony Romo as appearing to be demonstrably intoxicated?
Demonstrably.
Demonstrably, thank you.
And that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. What did you think I said? See, this is radio.
No, not appearing to be.
Oh, not appearing intoxicated.
Not appearing to be intoxicated. But again,
well, I didn't. Well, first of all, I didn't say that he was sloppy and was acting a fool.
Exactly.
What I said, he lied to the officer. That's what the Columbia Broadcasting System is going to examine and be like.
Well, he was driving around with an open container.
He had an open container in the car?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
He's cooked. He's cooked.
The more info that comes out about this, the worse it's getting.
It's horrible. And the Minnesota Vikings just suspended one of their coaches for a DUI, which doesn't portend well for Tony, because how does CBS put him in the booth? And what if they get a Minnesota game? And what if somehow the topic comes up that Coach John Smith isn't with the club? Normally Jim Nantz would say, Jim O'Brien would be on the sidelines, but he got a DUI. But you got an OWI, right, Tony? So yours is different. I mean, what are they going to do? And again, he lied to law enforcement. I don't know how y'all were raised, and I don't know who your bosses are, but I think when bosses examine when you get into trouble, how you handle it, do you handle it like a mature adult? And I'm sorry, a mature adult who we now know had an open container in his car doesn't turn to a cop and say, I've had nothing to drink. I mean, he's toast. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You think I know what the CBS is going to do? But if I were Tony Romo, I would be I'd be hitting golf balls, thinking about getting on the Champions Tour, because he's a stick. But we'll see. Headed into the 5. I'd stick around if I you.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI, Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Peters in Washington. The U.S.-Iran war is heating up again, and KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump, tells the Salem Radio Network the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is still in effect with no ships getting through.
And then if you look at the economic part of it, ceasefire, no ceasefire, the blockade is continued. No oil is getting out of Iran, no ships of any sort in or out of Iran. No oil from Iran is getting out. Maybe Iran has some overland routes where it's trading, but by and large, it's now an anaconda strategy around the Iranian economy. And we know that their inflation is double, triple. They're in terrible, dire economic shape.
Iran still has punch, though. Iranian drones caused fires on ships at an Egyptian port. Saudi Arabia said it came under fire from Iran-backed militias in Iraq. President Trump has launched a new initiative, this time involving trucking. Willie Nelson has the latest.
President Trump announced the Freedom Haulers Initiative, focused on commercial driver's license and highway safety.
We've already removed more than 24,000 non-English speakers from behind the wheel. We've also forced states to cancel more than 28,000 commercial driver's licenses. Today, we're also taking action to replace these unqualified migrant truck drivers with American veterans.
Officials say the goal is to raise safety standards on American highways and prioritize qualified drivers. Willie Nelson, Los Angeles.
President Trump may withdraw and delay Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General until Republican Senators John Cornyn and Todd Tillis, who are seeking concessions from the top prosecutor, leave office. Trump doubled down Thursday on choosing his former personal lawyer as the nation's top lawman. On Wall Street, the Dow by 613 points, the Nasdaq rose 679, the S&P advanced 121. More at townhall.com.
Imagine getting this kind of news. Karen Collins was in her 20s. She was newly married, and then her husband, Michael, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
And he told me, and I just cried because I didn't really know what the plan was.
There was another fear, too, the medical bills. And thankfully, they were members of MediShare, and MediShare came through for them, and not just financially.
But they called and they said, hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you. And it rocked my world. And every time they called, it was like, how can we pray for you right now? How are you doing today?
MediShare was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Yes, MediShare can save you a lot of money. But as Karen and Michael discovered, it's also about knowing you're not going through life's hardest moments alone. Call now. See why so many people have made the switch to MetaShare. Here's the number. It's 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Once again, mortgage rates are on the rise.
Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac's.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
He will be doing time, just maybe not as much as some people thought. I'm Chris Davis. 4 years in prison is the sentence for former California State University at Bakersfield assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays, who pleaded no contest to the felony charges of pimping, possession of child sex abuse material, and possession of a controlled substance while armed. His sentencing was today. Mays was accused of being a pimp, trafficking a woman across California, Washington, and Oregon before the other charges were added. An assault at the Fiesta Food Mart on Stein Road. It happened back on July 20th, and Bakersfield police say they believe the man assaulted an employee there while a buddy stole from the market. The man they are looking for is described as being in his 40s, muscular, and they believe possibly a transient. They also say the man was wearing a neon green shirt when it happened. A former Kern County Sheriff's Office sergeant accused of rape by force or fear of a woman that he had been seeing back on March 27th, 2024, is now scheduled to be tried November 9th. The trial date was set this week. The woman told police that Stephen Wells, who was employed with the sheriff's office at that time that it happened, came into her apartment through an unlocked door, assaulted and raped her, even though she was telling him no and resisting. You may have heard of the cherry vinegar fly, also known as the spotted wing Drosophila. Well, Congressman David Valadao of Hanford is trying to persuade Congress to fund research to try and figure out ways to stop that invasive species. He is looking for $6.5 million to go to research on how to keep that species from spreading further. It can ruin crops like peaches, apricots, cherries, and other things that are grown in this part of California. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in the week. I'm going to make them an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Thursday, final Thursday in July. This is the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1230. We stream live at kernradio.com and broadcast live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and punch in Ralph Bailey. And I'm clad in my blue and white Dodger shirt. And I'm not doing laundry, so I'm not wearing my Dodger jersey tomorrow.
Nope.
No, I spilled Slurpee all over the front of it when I went and saw 2 hours of
You
the Odyssey.
may want to do that, though, just so the stain doesn't set.
Yeah.
It may actually be too late now I think about it.
It'll come out. It's just Slurpee.
Color was a Slurpee.
Huh?
Color.
Cherry.
Ooh. Red don't come out that easy, dog.
Yeah. If they'd let you, I'd have mixed it up. I like the sarsaparilla. I like the cherry with the blue and the Pepsi.
But they don't let you do that anymore?
No, it's behind the thing. It used to be, and they used to have the Slurpee like at 7-Eleven,
right?
Where you do it your damn self. No, at the theater, it's behind the.
Oh, you got it.
It's behind the deal. Yeah. And that's another thing I'm going to do on vacation. I'm going to go see Odyssey in its entirety. I mean, how I didn't know that the movie didn't start 8 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago when I walked in the Battle of Troy.
Well, my better question is, and this is just a real question for you.
Hang on. Let me preface. I went to see the Odyssey. I bought my ticket. They sent me to the wrong theater. And I walked in on the 4 o'clock at 5:15 when the 5:15 was starting right down the hall, but they sent me to the wrong theater. And so I walked in, and like I said yesterday or whatever day we talked about it, the funniest part about it was I was sitting 2 seats next to a guy, and when I sat down, he looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And then I kind of looked around and like nobody was eating, and everybody was in their reclined position, and I was like, "Man, everybody got comfortable in about 5 minutes. Damn." I'm sometimes I am truly, I don't know if oblivious is the word. I think the real word is dense. Like I really truly think a normal human being would have figured it out. This thing didn't start 5 minutes ago. I don't know. I thought maybe that's what he led with. Maybe that's what made it so dynamic, that he started the movie with the Battle of Troy.
Yeah, I could see why you would think that. But again, my question for you really doesn't have anything to do with the time. It has more to do with, you bought an IMAX ticket, correct?
Yes. You've seen it.
Have you been in an IMAX theater before?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, then you wouldn't know. The screens are vastly different. When you go see this movie in IMAX, you'll see what I'm talking about.
See, I don't think I was in an IMAX theater.
You weren't. That's the thing. But the ticket you bought was for the IMAX theater. Because the one that or at least from what I could tell from the ticket when you showed it to me, was for IMAX.
Oh, it definitely was.
When you go see this in IMAX, you will understand why I asked that question, because the screen is way bigger.
So should I just buy my ticket there? Because it wasn't sold out.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to buy my ticket
Yeah,
there.
with Spider-Man coming out this weekend, everything's going to slow down.
I forgot about Spider-Man.
You're going to be fighting people for popcorn and stuff, obviously. But in terms of getting your ticket, you should be fine if you just buy it there.
And then the Reading cinemas should be ashamed of themselves, where they are making you buy the barrel of popcorn.
Well, that day.
Like, what is that? You didn't order small and medium cups? You think that was just that day?
Maybe. I've seen that happen before.
And then and your prize was, since you have to buy the big one, if you do so, we'll throw in candy. Like, that's what a 64-year-old pre-diabetic needs, a big box of Butterfingers, which I'm proud to say, it was mini Butterfingers in a box like this size, took me 3 days to finish. Very proud of that. Because you're looking at a man who at the age of 12, on routine, that's why I've got bad breath, because I didn't go to the dentist enough, and I only brushed my teeth once a day until I got to college. Like, when I was a kid, I only brushed my teeth once a day. My mother would be like, "You brush your teeth before you went to bed?" Yeah. I was a weird kid. I really was. I would wet my toothbrush.
Just so if they checked.
Just in case they checked. I would avoid taking showers. I would wet the towel and wet the thing.
I think everybody goes through that, though, once in their life.
And then you go through that period where you get into like 7th and 8th grade, where showers are the greatest things in the world. It's so weird. Like 5th, 6th grade, you're avoiding the tub. 7th, 8th, 9th grade, my parents started complaining. Stop taking up all the hot water, boy. And stop singing the Ella Fitzgerald songs. We can hear you all throughout the damn house. Sorry. Life is strange. What do you got on the board?
Well, Ralph, if you are pro-vaccine, which I am too, are you for or against the COVID vaccine? I'm just against the COVID vaccine because I don't think we can get a vaccine in 6 months for a cold when we have not beaten cancer yet.
Well, I took the first 2 shots. I have not taken one since, and I believed in it then. I think it saved lives. I don't think there's any question about that. The issue was it didn't do what they said it would do, and they were willing to die on a hill that if you took the shot, you could not spread it. That was untrue. That if you got the shot, you were immune, you couldn't get it. That ended up not being true. So I think that's where, and there's long been, this whole connection between vaccinations and autism, and then this thing comes mandated. And I think there was people don't like to be told what to do, particularly by the government, and particularly when we're in this new era of shots being, considered controversial for some reason. But yeah, I have not taken a COVID shot of late. I took the first 2 that we had to take. But my problem with Fauci is not whether he got things right or wrong. The fact that the man lied to the world and made money on his lie and kind of, just kind of sapped up all this attention that he got and was loving that and milked that. That's not what scientists do. That's not what doctors do. And so that's my issue with Dr. Fauci. What else you got?
The city council and its staff all knew that this is a reach. They'll continue down this road in spite of what Mike said. It's all about optics to them.
I absolutely agree. I think for Montpre Corps and for Eric and Andre and for some of them, it's about showing that they're going to fight ICE and that they're on the side of the immigrants and blah, 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 as opposed to being on the side of law and order and trying to cooperate with federal authorities so that there aren't these confrontations. And I'm not a big fan of ICE. I think it's mandatory, but I think that they need more training. I think that they are a bunch of rogue cops. Not all, but I think there is a large portion of them that dig their assignment, that really dig their assignment. If you give anybody unfettered power, it's going to corrupt them. If you give me a gun and a badge and tell me to go rouse people, and that's how you earn your money, I'm going to lose it. I'm a pretty reasonable fella, but you get drunk with power. It's just human nature. If you're told you can do anything you want, imagine if Katie Barton, our general manager, came over to JR and said, "You're the program director. I don't want to have anything to do with the radio station. You get to do whatever you want." Can you imagine? JR would have a 10-minute show from 12 to 12:10. He would hiring producers, so he would have to be. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Eventually, even good people abuse their power. It's just human nature. And you got a bunch of guys that have gone through very little training, that have no training in terms of traffic stops, and they're bumping cars with their cars to stop them. And then if the person tries to leave, they're, instead of chasing them or just getting their license plate and doing something later on, they're just firing guns at them at moving vehicles. The BPD doesn't even do that. Our sheriff's department doesn't do that. That's one of the most dangerous things in the world. You know how Ronald Reagan got shot? Chris, do you know how Ronald Reagan got shot?
I do not.
Hinckley didn't hit Ronald Reagan. In fact, I've got some audio of John Hinckley. I thought about playing it. He's making the reels. He's on Vlad. What's the Vlad podcast?
Vlad podcast?
Yeah, VLAD.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's a podcast that runs, and he interviews John Hinckley. And they talk about this, and he talks about how he pulled out his .22. He'd been waiting for Reagan, and he went in, and Reagan passed him, and he said hello, and then he waited for Reagan to come out, and he said, "I just pulled my gun and just started firing." And he hit a Secret Service agent, and as older folks probably remember, he hit James Brady in the head, and he was believed to be dead. In fact, ABC reported that he was dead and had to. It's a very famous broadcasting moment. If you were a broadcasting student like you would know that Frank Reynolds damn near lost it on national television, where they had reported that James Brady had been dead. And then in the middle of the newscast, they gave him, this is what they used to do in the 70s and the 80s. Like if you had they just didn't put it on the teleprompter. If they had like breaking news, there would literally be somebody that would come in and hand the anchor breaking news. And the anchor would say, "We've got breaking news. James Brady is not dead." And Frank Reynolds, a veteran ABC anchor, about had a nervous breakdown. He's like, God dog it, let's nail this down. Let's get this right. Because obviously, and we've done it on this radio station, but it's normally somebody much, much older. But to kill somebody who's not dead, it's kind of a faux pas in communications. You know what I'm saying? And Frank Reynolds absolutely blew his top on national television, as well he should have. But here's my point about ICE guys shooting at cars. You know how Reagan was shot? A bullet ricocheted off the limo and caught him in the ribs. So one of the most dangerous things you can do is fire at a moving car. It's crazy. And the moving car that they were shooting at had the man's, I'm talking about the Minnesota, or no, the Maine shooting, the immigration shooting in Maine. He had his wife and his daughter in the vehicle. And you're just randomly firing at him. And what if they had killed that baby? The baby that was seen crying because her father was desanguinating on the streets of Maine. Just saying. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we'll check the board some more, clear that for you. If I have time, I'll get into this Todd Blanche story, which really is no story, but it is. But I am going to tell you about Ryder Williams, the 16-year-old superhero up in Santa Cruz. You're going to see the video if you not already have. It's amazing stuff. And it's an amazing story because he had 6 rescues that day, the 16-year-old. And he said the one that was caught on video was the easiest of the bunch. And it took about 10 minutes for them to be able to drag this kid out of the water. The kid's father, well, I'll tell you about it later. But he said the other 5 just weren't caught on camera. But they were much more difficult. I'll tell you where this kid is headed. He's going to be honored. We'll get into that. And do we have some audio from the Clancy trial?
Yes.
Okay, we'll play that for you. We'll hear from Brian Josephine. He was one of the officers at the scene. More on that before we get out of here. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
The Ed Jiggles extravaganza that we're all going to be treated to, it's yet another way too closely connected to the DA's office, so this one's going to play out in Tulare. And that's fun for 2 reasons. Number one, we're not going to have to pay for it. And the other thing is listening to how our news guy's going to pronounce Tulare every morning. We're all going to find out together in real time. It'll be a festival.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
You like playing around in the kitchen? Well, you've got to check out on Instagram Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen vignettes. Tiny little vignettes, many of them with Gino showing you how to cook different dishes with some of the elements that are in the delicatessen. And now he's got some of the other personnel doing it as well. They're incredibly well done, and they can break down some of the great stuff that they do right at Luigi's. And again, if you're a foodie, the delicatessen's got to be your first stop. I mean, they've got everything. I've got some of the Luigi stuff in my kitchen. I use it when I cook as well. And again, I've told you about the deli, the merchandise, the merch for kids coming up for birthdays or anniversaries or whatever. And then check out the patio. The misters are out there. It's a wonderful afternoon. Where would you rather be? But again, stop in the deli. Say hello to Lynette. Try one of her Italian wines. Where would you rather be than at Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.
The modern college student is looking for education that leads to real opportunity. Here's President of Strayer University, Dr. Antoinette Farmer-Thompson, with more.
Today's students want an education that gives them practical skills and clear pathways into fast-changing industries. And with the emergence of AI, students expect their education to help them keep pace with AI advances, prepare them to responsibly shape and drive its adoption within the workforce.
To learn more, visit www.strayer.edu.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to The Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN. Everybody.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Check the Eagles schedule. Are they in town on the 28th of September when I am in Philadelphia? Regone sent me a picture of him playing golf with Saquon Barkley now. No, they're on the road?
September 27th, right?
28th.
28th.
Oh, it's
in Chicago.
Oh, damn.
That's what I'm saying. No.
They're playing Monday, but it's
in Chicago.
Damn. That's just my luck. God, that would have been fun. God, that would have been fun. I'm going to be in Philadelphia, the lab.
And then the next week they play the Rams at home.
Oh! Of course. Of course. Of course. Well, I don't know. It depends if his deal that he's getting me, Ragona's hooking me up with a hotel room. If it's good enough, maybe I'll stay the whole damn week. No, because I got to be at work the following Monday.
Oh, well, you got 6 days.
And I would take it to see a Philly game. I really would.
Kathy would
Where do they play?
The Philadelphia Stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Hold on.
It's not Citizens Park. That's where the Phillies play.
Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial Park. God dang it. That's too bad. That's too bad. You guys hear my luck? The baseball season ends the Sunday that I arrive. And the Monday that I'm there, the Eagles are playing in Chicago. And could have got me. I'm sure they have a suite at both Citizens.
You would have gotten in the
Lincoln.
locker room with all the people he knows.
Yep. He plays golf with Jason Kelsey and Saquon Barkley. I think he played golf. Who's the tight end?
For who? Dallas Goedert?
Philly.
Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, he's played golf with him. He's like in with the sports teams because he's basically a sports magnate. He has created a golf championship tour event in Philadelphia, and he's part of one of the biggest, I think the biggest hospital group. You know who he is? He's Philadelphia's Robin Mangren, although she retired. But what Robin Mangren was to Dignity, that's what he is to Jefferson. And they're probably even bigger than Dignity is here because Dignity kind of rivals with at Venice. I don't think in Philly Jefferson has a rival. I think they're like the largest the largest medical group in the city, and he is catapulted from St. Louis to Philadelphia, and I don't think he is. Actually, I don't know. I've never asked him. Does he knows Josh Shapiro? And the reason I would bring that up is because when I was in St. Louis playing in this tournament, the night that I went to the Busch Stadium, he had a party at his house with the lieutenant governor and the governor. And I opted for the ball game. Me and Kelly had a ball at Busch Stadium. It was the first time I'd ever been to Busch Stadium, and it was a great game. They talk about how Cardinal fans are like the best, baseball fans are the most knowledgeable. Well, they're not the most loyal, Jack, because that night they were down by 4 runs, and the place started to empty out in the 7th inning. Kelly and I, in the suite with Avi Smith, were going to stay as long as it took, and they had a 9th inning comeback, and they won the ball game. It was great. It was a wonderful night. It really, really was. It was one of the most fun nights I've had because I hadn't seen Kelly in years, and she's a really cool girl. In fact, I'm going to get her cousin on the broadcast. He's a local musician, and I promised her I would do that. And she took me to that little bar. I can't remember. It starts with a P, right near Busch Stadium, where you can see the arch in the background. It was just a really fun trip. It really was. And I think Philly's going to even be better because I think Philly's a better city. St. Louis is still a little country. Like, I took the train from my hotel to the ballpark, and have you ever seen any Jesse James movies where they rob trains and they take the woods and block the trains with all the lumber from the woods? Well, it's still like that. The trains in Missouri go through like it's like the jungle. You know what I'm saying? Just nothing but trees where they've, for decades and decades, carved out these trees, literally from the 19th century, and they're still using those same tracks because it's nothing but shrubbery. Final half hour of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
And Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he will keep Todd Blanche in the role as acting attorney general until Republican Senators John Cornyn of Texas and Tom
Buddha, he's a hot DJ.
Driving up here
Cornyn and Tillis have sought additional.
You keep driving up here like 60 miles an hour. Like a bat out of hell.
Created to resolve Trump's lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service. A man who gave his son the gun he used in a deadly high school shooting in Georgia has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Colin Gray was convicted of charges including second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter after his then 14-year-old son, Colt Gray, used the weapon to kill 2 students and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School in September 2024. More details at srnnews.com.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
Former CSUB assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays has been sentenced to 4 years in prison after pleading no contest to charges of pimping and prostitution, possessing child sex abuse material, and possessing a controlled substance while armed. A trial date of November 9th has been set for former Kern County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Stephen Wells, accused of raping a woman in March of 2024. The woman says he came into an unlocked door and assaulted her at her place despite her resistance. Congressman David Valadao is trying to get Congress to fund $6.5 million in research to combat the invasive species known as the cherry vinegar fly. It has ruined crops like peaches and apricots in Central California. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's probably time to go on that summer trip, and what better way to travel than in a brand new Subaru? Now, if you want something sporty yet comfortable, then the choice is clear, an Outback. plenty of room for the entire family. Plus, Outback gets 32 miles per gallon on the highway. And now, through July 31st, lease a 2026 Outback Premium CVT for $229 a month for 36 months and $5,017 due at signing. Every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Offer ends July 31st. So stop by, see my good friends Damon Colas and Ossan Levy, and test drive a brand new Outback. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall.
$229 per month plus tax for 36 months. Total of lease payments, $8,869. $5,017 total due at lease signing. Includes first month payment, excludes tax, title, license, and $85 document fee. Total lease cost $13,886, excluding tax and license. TSRP $37,287. No security deposit. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 15 cents per mile over. Available to qualified customers through Subaru Motor Finance on approved credit. Expires July 31st, 2026. Excludes optional equipment and dealer installed accessories. VIN number TY514370.
Maxwell in the morning. Good till the last mic drop.
Dr. Sam Woggood, chancellor of the University of California at San Francisco, was asked, can only women get pregnant? And that was asked by Representative Mary Miller. You know what? He couldn't answer it. That's what I'm talking about, because everybody listening to me right now knows that only women can get pregnant in the human race.
Weekdays 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Yeah, see, we can sponge all this from the rotation. Let's get a little we need to get blacker, we need to get older. We need to get blacker, and we need more Sinatra, more Tony, more Dean, but not the typical, not Under My Skin and all the ones we've heard. Go explore. Get out there, have fun. Like Captain Kirk would say to Sulu, not Sulu. Is it Sulu? Was he the Japanese one? Oh, yeah, Sulu. Have fun. What direction should I say, Captain? Have fun. No, that's not what he'd say. He would say, indulge yourself. That's what I'm telling you. Just stay in those categories. Blacker, which would mean, if you're going to go blacker, which means you got to go older. Because I don't want any rap. I don't want Rihanna. No, not even Beyonce. I don't need all that nonsense. But go 70s, 80s, a little more Little Earth, Wind and Fire, a little Commodores, a little, I don't know. And then older, a little more Lil Prima, a little more Francis, a little more Tony, a little more Dean. Throw in a little Nat King Cole. Now you're killing two birds with one stone. We're getting blacker and older. And it don't get much blacker than Nat King Cole because he was blacker than this microphone. I'm just saying. God, I wish I could remember my new black jokes. I had some new ones, y'all. I really did. I just can't remember. The one under the bed, that was pretty good. My brother was so dark, we used to call him under the bed. I'm sorry, I find these funny. But I had some new ones to go along with my old ones. You know, the go-to is, my father was so dark when he got out of his car, his oil light would go on. That's my favorite. Now that's just clever. That's funny. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. My other favorite is my mother didn't buy my father lotion. He bought him Armor All. He was dark skin brother. I'm just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I found more people saying that Lupita is ugly and should not have been Helen of Troy. I don't see how they can say that woman is ugly unless there is just a raging problem with dark-skinned black people, which I think there is. Having lived with a dark-skinned black man for 22 years and witnessed people's reaction to my father, you know, like I can remember going to like a thing at school at Joey Gonzalez Elementary, because my mother was at everything. My dad came to very little things. And my mother is my complexion. And my dad is about the color of this microphone right here. This microphone cover. That's about as dark as my dad was. And I would come to this thing and I'd say, Miss Thompson, this is my father. And these young white girls will be like, this is your father? I mean, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? And I think most people are more intimidated by dark-skinned black people than they are lighter-skinned black people. And I think they find lighter-skinned black people more attractive than dark-skinned black people.
I can agree with that.
Because Lupita, to say that she's not attractive,
wildly inaccurate.
What? Thank you. Well said. Oh, Renee is texting me in the middle of a radio broadcast. I don't know why. Black and older. She's laughing at that. That's right. Black and older. Damn right. What do you got on the board? See if we can do text messages for the next 20 minutes and I can go home and eat my chicken and go to bed.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Please give a shout out to all the outstanding Leos listening out there, especially August Leos like me tomorrow, August 1st. Hope you have a great vacation. Thanks, Marissa.
There are so many great Leos, Marissa. It's just an incredible long list. I'll start locally. Deborah Leary is a Leo. Cassie Biddle is celebrating her birthday next week. Paul Guerra, who is going to be our guest tomorrow. They've got the AGC Harvick Foundation the golf tournament coming up next week, so I won't be here. So Paul's going to join us tomorrow. I think both of our guests, I think Jeff Salters, who's joining us tomorrow as well, I think is a Leo. Tom Brady is a Leo. My father was a Leo. My mother is a Leo. Martin Sheen is a Leo. There are a lot of great Leos. They are naturally leaders. And unlike my father, most of them like to be the center of attention. Most of us like being the center of attention. And we're naturally leaders. Those are our two main qualities. And we're very affable Leos. I'm not a big, oh Lord, let me get this right. Astrology. Yeah, I'm not a big astrology guy, but whenever I would read those things when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, that's kind of me, and that's kind of my mom, and it's kind of my dad. Although my dad never wanted to be the center of attention. But thanks for the birthday wish. You have a happy birthday as well. And my mother turns 84 tomorrow as well.
Baines Bank, also a Leo, apparently.
Who?
Baines Bank, the father of Palmer and Fletcher.
Oh, is that right? How did you know that?
They texted in.
Oh, hey,
texted in.
Hey, man. Good to see you. We got to play some golf soon. We really do. I love Stockdale. I think he's a member out of Stockdale. He invited me, and I don't know whether I had gout or something else to do, but I did not go. I don't know why, because I love Stockdale. It's a nice track. And now that I am just can play now, and I'm not a bit, that's the reason I'm taking my clubs to LA, because now I feel like I can play with anybody. I can play with anybody. I was so bad maybe a year and a half ago, I was embarrassed to play with other people. I really was. I had the shanks. I was hitting 200-yard drives. I don't know what it was. And I'm telling you, I know this, it sounds weird, but it's one of the most proud things I've ever been able to pull off, just to be able to, because I was a decent golfer when I was younger. And then to be as bad as I was about a year ago, and to come back, and I shot at 83 a couple of weeks ago. I shot at 89 last week. I'm playing 36 holes this weekend, so you'll hear about it when I get back from vacation. And I want to take my clubs to LA with me for the first time and go play Westchester Golf Course, and maybe go into the ghetto and play Chester, Washington Golf Course as well. I'm not sure about that, but I might. There's some great public courses down in LA. But and Chester, Washington is a black golf course. It's run by a black business owner, and it's mostly it's about 85-90% brothers, which is interesting. Something that's what I love about Los Angeles. There are just cultural aspects of Los Angeles that don't exist in Bakersfield, never have, and probably never will. I grew up in a pretty upper middle class neighborhood, and it was 85% black. It just doesn't exist here. It just doesn't exist. You know, where doctors and lawyers live in one neighborhood, like the way the Sikhs dominate Seven Oaks, that's the way black folks dominated Ladera Heights and Baldwin Hills. And that just doesn't exist here. Just doesn't. What else you got?
Ralph, Dodger fans show up in the third and leave in the seventh, regardless of the score.
You know, that used to be the deal. And yes, there are some that still do that. I've told the classic story. My good friend, Mike, Big Dog Parent, who takes us down once a year. And the year that he took me, this was about 2 years ago, it was a night game, and he invited a client who brought his girlfriend. And so they were running late. And I said, I love you, Michael, but they ain't my clients. That's the national anthem. I'm about to go watch the ball game. He said, no, go ahead. Because he had to stay in the dining room and wait for them, because part of the experience of going with Michael and having those tickets 6 rows behind home plate is the dining room, being able to sit there and have a really, really good meal, prime rib, turkey, pasta station. I mean, just all the work. So he had to wait for them. They showed up in the 3rd inning. And then they were having such a good time. They started taking shots of tequila that they didn't come out to the ball game until about the 5th inning. That's the game that I told you I couldn't even watch the game because my phone just kept blowing up. Because it's one thing if people see me at a ball game and they're like, oh my God, that's Ralph Bailey sitting there. And isn't that Michael Big Dog? But Big Dog was in the dining room with his pals to the 5th inning. So for 5 innings, and just out of clear, weird circumstance, the 3 people that sit next to me were gone. The people that were sitting in front of me were gone. So it looked like I was just sitting in the middle of the most expensive section of Dodger Stadium by my damn self. So obviously, my phone was blowing up. Okay, first of all, how the hell did you, Mr. Uber, get to LA? Second of all, how the hell did you, a local radio talk show host in Bakersfield with limited funds, get those seats? And why the hell are you by yourself? And I was like, it's a long story. I'll explain later. But I had a great time. Mike was in there he wasn't taking shots, but he was in there, dealing with his clients. And I had a good time. I think that was the night I bought my $250 vest when it got so damn cold that I just couldn't stand it any longer. And because I thought I was ready. I had a t-shirt on. Then I had my long Garces t-shirt underneath that. Then I had like a shirt on. And then I had my Dodger hoodie on. And I thought that would take care of it. No, it got down to about 54 degrees that night. And around the 4th inning, I just couldn't take it. And I went into the little mini gift shop in the section where we are behind home plate. And I picked up a vest, which I thought would be the least expensive. And I didn't even look at it because I thought 100, 125, I got that. And I put it, and he said, that'll be $245. I was like, I beg your pardon? He said, it's $245. I said, for this vest? He said, yeah. And he said it like with a pain. I was like, yeah. I said, ring it up. What are you going to do? I'll be wearing it tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to get as much play as I can. I'm joking. I've been waiting to say this all day, and I can't wait to say this tomorrow. Final break of the night. Not that I'm not enjoying your company or enjoying entertaining you folks, but I got one foot on the 405, to be honest with you. I cannot wait to get out of this town. 107, 108, are you kidding me? And I got to stay the weekend. Mom's headed to Moreno Valley for her birthday, but I got to stay the weekend. And then Monday, 64 years old. It's like when you get this age, you can't even look forward to stuff in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking, there's so many things coming up in the 30s, 2032. And then I was like, 2032? Ralph, you may not even be here in 2032. What's the matter with you? Quick time out. Final of the night. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Friday. We wrap it up. Rick Bentley will be here. Jeff Salters has got a grand opening he wants to tell you all about. and our good friend Paul Guerra from Double Eagle Golf and from the board at Bakersfield Country Club. They've got a Kevin Harvick Foundation event that he's going to tell you all about. In the meantime, you are listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1230, and we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Friday edition of the First Look program, it's the last day the governor of Kentucky wants Mitch McConnell to show some proof of life or have a special election. And today will be the day when we'll find out if that's actually going to happen. And all the state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all
3, 2. So Kevin Mays, the CSUB alum and human trafficker, pimp, kiddie porn. 3, 2. So CSUB former coach and graduate Kevin Mays was sentenced to 4 years for human trafficking, having kiddie porn, weapons, methamphetamine, and with time served and time for good behavior, he'll be out by next summer. Next summer. Thank you, Monty Hall, a.k.a. Cynthia Zimmer. Let's make a deal. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Friday TRBS, my final before vacation, by the way. Rick Bentley obviously will be here, along with Kernak the Magnificent, our good friend Paul Guerra from Double Eagle Golf, and Salty's owner, Jeff Salters. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS. I'll see you at 3.
Cash you can put aside, and to cover the rest, Albert can get you up to $10,000 fast. Can you find contractors nearby within our budget? Here's a list of contractors. Would you like help requesting a $10,000 loan for your bathroom renovation?
Yes!
Download the Albert app and use promo code READY to access Genius. Plus, get up to $10,000 for whatever you need. Just download the Albert app right now and use promo code READY to get up to $10,000. That's promo code READY.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
The end is near.
Ain't that the truth?
So I face the final curtain.
When I was a kid in my 20s,
My friend,
whenever I get depressed, I would play this. Isn't that weird? Music used to be a big part of my life, but it really isn't any longer. I don't know why. It was a great song.
a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way.
Regrets, I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention. And I stood tall and did it my way. 842-537-6842-KERN. Let's read a couple of text messages. And I'm making the big walk to Coconut Joe's.
Got a caller real quick.
Who you got?
Dave.
Dave, what's really going on?
Just want to wish you well. Give your mom a big hug from me.
Thank you, sir.
We just commemorated my mom's 31st year that she passed away.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. She left a great legacy. You know, my dad's 98. He's still alive and doing great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And no, it's great that your mom's alive. And I always tell you, you know, give her a big hug from Daily Dave. And I know you're not going to be playing any golf soon here while it's so dang hot. So.
No, I'm playing Saturday and Sunday.
You're in town?
Yeah, sure am.
Oh, man.
Sure am. I'm playing 8 o'clock Saturday and 6:30 Sunday.
6:30, that's my time to play golf when it's hot like this.
Yeah. It's just so tough to get up at 5:30 in the morning on a Sunday.
Yeah, but it's worth it, you know. And there's nothing like the coolness of the morning, the dew's out, you know, and playing. And your golf, and it sounds like your game's under control.
Yeah, it's a whole lot better. Better. It just makes it more fun.
And our Dodgers are doing great. Chaos for making that play last night. That's a game saver last night.
Yeah, it really was. That was a nice catch because that is not easy to do up against that bullpen fence. And why they have that fence there, I just don't understand. I don't know why they don't make that a foam fence so they can hit it.
Yeah.
Because who was it? Somebody hit that and got injured. I don't forget whether it was one of our guys or...
I think it was somebody from another team.
Yeah, I think it was Tatis.
Yeah.
I think it was Tatis that hit our bullpen fence and got hurt.
And then a play later, he almost ran down one in the corner again. I'm like, oh, my God. But, no, our Dodgers are looking good, and we still have TK coming back. And are we going to pick up that pitcher from Detroit? Is that going to happen?
I don't think so. I think they're going to trade him, but I don't think we're going to pick him up. I think the Dodgers feel good about what we have because Tyler Glasnow is about to come back. Blake Snell is about to come back. And I think Detroit's going to trade him, though, because there's no way they're going to re-sign him next year. So you might as well try to get a haul for him. Although he just had a horrible outing. Was it yesterday, Chris? He had a horrible outing? Or the day before? It was sometime this week.
No, it was the day before.
He got rocked. Yeah, he got rocked.
They were saying this might have been the last game for him in Detroit and all that.
Mm-hmm. And he got rocked.
What about Diaz last night? He got hit kind of hard.
Yeah, but he got it done. That's all that matters. That's what I love about my closers. Just as long as you get it done, I don't care how. But you're right. There were some deep fly balls. They hit him hard.
They hit him hard, but that was good. But anyway, have a great vacation.
Thank you, sir.
I'm heading over to the coast tomorrow to watch my 8-year-old play flag football, his last game of the year.
Nice.
So that's fun. And taking my 98-year-old dad, we're going to go enjoy. And we'll probably wind up at Morro Bay or Cayucas on Saturday morning.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Where are you teeing off 6:30 Sunday?
Sundale.
Sundale? Oh.
Yeah. Playing BCC Saturday and Sundale Sunday morning.
Sundale's nice. It's kind of narrow.
Yeah, we got a nice little group that Swain has put together. A nice bunch of guys that I like playing with.
Well, enjoy. Give your mom a big hug. And you know what I always tell you? Tee it high and let it fly.
All right, Dave. Have a good weekend. Be careful. Be safe.
Thanks, at you.
Thanks, man. Couple texts, and I'm done.
Let's see.
Texas?
Ralph, is it not illegal for a subject to lie to a law enforcement officer? Oh, I'm sorry. It is not illegal for a subject to lie to a law enforcement officer. It is, as it is not against the law for a cop to lie to a perpetrator.
I didn't say they're going to add charges. Did you hear me say that they're going to add charges, that he's going to go to jail because he lied to the cops? What I said is executives with the Columbia Broadcasting System aren't going to like one of their main commentators lying to police. It's just a bad look for a guy who's already done something redonkulously irresponsible. And then on top of that, you can't be honest about your situation. You're trying to lie your way out of a tough spot like a 12-year-old? And you don't think a corporate company like CBS is going to have an issue with that? That one of their lead color guy is on video that I could pull up right now lying to law enforcement? You think that's a good look for a corporate company like CBS? With an open container in the passenger seat? Maybe. You know, like I said, the Minnesota Vikings just suspended one of their coaches for a DUI. So it's my opinion that CBS has to do something. Now, whether they walk away from his $20 million contract or whether they just suspend him for the first 4 games of the season without pay, who knows? But something's going to be done. You can't be seen getting a DUI, lying about it, having an open container, and work for a large corporation like CBS. It doesn't work. I got to get out of here. Want to thank our guests today, Mr. Turnipseed and Mr. Petrie. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap you tomorrow.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Peters in Washington. The Trump administration is ending a Medicare subsidy.
Millions of older adults on Medicare prescription drug coverage could face higher monthly costs in 2027. The Trump administration says it has decided to end a temporary subsidy program that helped offset premiums for the past 2 years. The program was initially implemented by the Biden administration to lower Medicare Part D prescription drug costs in response to the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. While federal officials say the actual impact will be minimal, Democrats have criticized the move as an attack on healthcare affordability. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Trump may pull Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General after concerns were raised by 2 outgoing Republican senators.
A vote on Todd Blanche's nomination